best friend pretended to care, while secretly recording my therapy session and posting them online, turning my journey of healing into public drama, leaving me devastated and struggling to move forward. I never believed that healing could be like betrayal, that something meant to heal me would break me further, and that is what it did. For most of my life, I suppressed everything. I grew up in a home where emotions were a nuisance. Crying made me dramatic. Being angry made me be calm. So I learned that silence was safest very early on. That being everything that was okay made me lovely. I wasn't okay. Not even remotely so. By my early 20s, I was in pieces. I seemed put together on the outside. Had a decent job, pleasant apartment, friends I could have some fun with. But inside, I was drowning. I couldn't sleep, couldn't focus. I'd burst into tears in the middle of the day for no reason and not even be able to identify why. I felt hollow, like something deep inside of me had been gone for years, and I'd only just realized it. So I did something I vowed never to do. I began therapy. It was every ounce in me that made it to that first session. I sat in the waiting room with my hands gripping the armrest of the chair, sweating bullets. My heart was pounding like it was going to beat right out of my chest. And the whole time, there was this persistent voice in my head saying, "This is stupid. You don't need this. You're just being weak." But I went anyway, and I spoke the truth to someone for the first time in years, about my family, my childhood, what I carried around that people couldn't see, how I hated myself sometimes for not being tougher. I cried, a lot, but it wasn't embarrassing. It felt like finally exhaling a breath that I had been holding for too many years. And then I spoke with my best friend. We'd been close since college. The kind of close where we'd collapse on each other's couches after all-night phone sessions. We'd dated and then broken up. Had awful jobs, lost loved ones. She was my haven, I thought. When I told her that I had started therapy, she was surprisingly encouraging, or at least, so it seemed. She'd ask me how it was going, what I was learning. She'd say, "I'm proud of you," or "You're so brave." It was nice being seen like that. So I continued to open up even more. Every now and again, after my sessions, she'd get me to go through what I'd learned, or how I was feeling. And I would. I'd sometimes even leave voicemails for her. Things I didn't want to text. They were raw and intimate and full of the things I didn't tell other people. She'd always get back to me with sympathy, with patience. She made me feel that she was actually present for me. But she wasn't. I was scrolling through TikTok months ago, around midnight, random swiping, attempting to sleep, and I saw this video that sounded eerily familiar. A voice, my voice, but I couldn't identify it at first, until I heard the words. The very words that I had said in one of my voice notes. And another one, another clip, another agony. It was me, my therapy, my breakdowns, my darkest moments, cut over sad music, captioned with things like, "When the trauma hits too deep," or POV, "Healing isn't linear," as if my life was a trend, as if my pain was some kind of aesthetic. I sat up, stiffly paralyzed. I didn't gasp for breath. I couldn't, my throat dry, my ears ringing. I opened the account that posted it. Anonymous. No face. No name. Just dozens of videos, mine and others, I guess. All spliced together like a book of pain. And some of the rawest ones were mine. Not voice notes, alone recordings from when I was in therapy. Private sessions. Sessions I never shared with anyone. That's when it hit me. She'd been taping me. I remembered each time we talked when I was over at her apartment. The phone on the table, face down. The strange way she'd place it up against something next to it when we were just hanging out. I never had an inkling. Why would I? The betrayal didn't approach in the slap in the face that I'd expected at first. It crept up in waves. Confusion, horror, anger, shame. I called her. She didn't answer. I texted. No response. I kept watching the videos. Maybe I was mistaken. That maybe this was some kind of insane coincidence. But I knew my voice. I knew my stories. My therapist's voice was even heard in one of them. Muffled but recognizable. It wasn't just a violation. It was exposure. I was bare, cut apart, like my soul had been posted online for the world to see without even bothering to ask me. 2 days later, she finally messaged. "I didn't mean to hurt you," she said. "I was just trying to raise awareness." Raise awareness. She said it like it was something to be proud of. Like it was okay to tear apart someone's most intimate moments as long as it got likes and comments. I didn't reply. I couldn't. I spiraled. I closed down all my social media. I ceased going to therapy. Every time I tried, I had this terrible sick shame. Like I couldn't trust the space anymore. Like everything I said was being watched, critiqued, recorded. My therapist wasn't. She told me it wasn't my fault. What was done to me was a deep betrayal of trust and consent. But the damage was done. I became paranoid, oversensitive to everything that was going on around me. I stopped believing in people, even the ones who cared about me. I didn't know who to believe anymore. Everyone was a threat. Words that were said about those videos haunted me. Strangers breaking apart my agony as if it was fiction. Some of them compassionate, others cruel. She's just being dramatic. This girl needs to grow up. Sounds like another attention seeker. They did not know me. They did not know what it cost me to say those words aloud. But now, those words did not even sound like my own. It took months to recover from that. I still do not know if I have. But I did go back to therapy eventually. New therapist, different office, different atmosphere. And I started with that story. The whole saga. The betrayal. The breach. The aftermath. I cried harder than ever. I shook. I wanted to shout. But my therapist didn't flinch. She looked me straight in the eye and said, "You get to reclaim your story." That struck a chord. So that's what I've been trying. I still don't talk to my ex-best friend. I don't think that ever will. There's no apology big enough to undo what she did. And maybe she'll keep playing like she was doing something good for people. Maybe she'll talk herself into believing it was worth it. But I know the truth. She turned my healing into her material, my suffering into her attention. And still, I survived it. I'm learning now that my voice is still my own. That which was stolen can be stolen back. That trust, having been shattered, can be regained slowly, not with her, but with myself. I may never be myself again. But maybe I'm not supposed to be. Maybe this iteration, cautious, distrustful, but alive, is who I am meant to be. And if there's one thing I've learned today, it's this. My pain is not your entertainment. My story is mine to tell. And I get to decide how it's heard.